Hi guys, this is Adriana. I had an idea to start doing a plant of the week video where I just talk about one of my house plants and its care, what I've learned about it over the years, and show you mine. So we're gonna get started today. I decided to be outside away from the noisy toddlers and in the beautiful yard. We can hear some birds. And we're gonna start with this beautiful plant. It's called a Philodendron Brasil. This is one of the more common plants. You see it a lot when you go to grocery stores. You see it everywhere. Nurseries obviously have it, but grocery stores usually have it also. Box stores have it as well. So typically the stereotypical or the ideal look, I think my cat got that leaf. The ideal look for this plant is a dark leaf with a light green stripe in the middle like that, or like these above it. When it gets a lot of sun, they call it sun stress, it gets this yellow. So I have all this new growth over here that has lots of yellow, and that's the way that I like it. I think it's just so beautiful. It creates different shades of green within the same leaf, and to me it's just so much more beautiful and interesting. Look at this one, it's like all just light green. It just creates so much variety in how the leaves look, and I love it. So the care is pretty easy for this guy. Basically, like most vining house plants, it does prefer to climb. Can you see that stick that it's on, or the pole that it's on? I bought this already on the pole from a local nursery. It was on sale. I haven't wanted to mess with it, even though the pot it's in is a little bit big, and the pole's not very tall. So I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna. I guess at this point I'm kind of just letting it like grow down off the pole. So it's not quite as easy as pothos, which is the other really common vining plant that it's similar to. In my mind, almost no plant is as easy as pothos. They're just super resistant. I feel like these guys, the leaves are just a little bit more delicate. They seem to me like they're a little bit thinner. I could be wrong, but you just have to be a little bit more careful than with pothos not to overwater. I feel like we do live in Washington State, so overwatering seems to be the main cause of death for a lot of houseplants. One, because people usually have the pots too big. This pot is kind of big. I bought it in this pot and haven't wanted to change it, but I have to be really careful when I water it, just to kind of do a small amount of water. I kind of just go all the way around where the stems are in a circle. But a lot of these tropical plants prefer their roots to be tight. Where they come from, somewhere tropical, they're usually like climbing up a tree or something. They're on moss or just a small amount of soil. They don't want to have a lot of soil. So some people feel like if you give it a bigger pot, it'll help it grow bigger. For a lot of plants, it's actually the opposite. If the pot's too big, the plant's going to put more of its energy towards its roots and filling that space in the soil with more roots before it starts pushing out more plants. So if the roots are tighter, then it's going to put more of that energy towards pushing out new leaves and new growth. So you want to make sure the pot's not too big to help you not overwater. And then also be aware, this is Washington. We don't have a lot of sun or warmth for over half the year. So you do want to make sure that it's close to a light source and that it is not staying wet too long. When you water, you want to make sure that the soil is mostly dry, not completely bone dry like you would with a cactus, but pretty dry, so that the roots don't rot. The way you can tell the difference between a philodendron and a pothos, the shape of the leaves is a little bit different. So these guys have a little bit more of a heart-shaped leaf. There's a little bit more of the curve on the top and a little bit more of a point at the bottom that makes it look a little bit more heart-shaped. And then also if you look at the bottom of the leaf, it doesn't have, the pothos will have kind of like some brown, it's like left over from the sheath the leaf came out of, whereas these guys don't have that, which is maybe why they seem a little bit thinner, more delicate to me. So yeah, and then the soil's pretty basic. I mean, like most tropical plants, you want it in a soil that can dry out fairly quickly, but honestly my pothos and philodendrons, this is a philodendron, did I call it a pothos? Either of them I have done okay in just regular indoor potting soil mix, even though it's maybe a little bit heavier and not as chunky as some people think it should be. You just have to be careful not to overwater and you'll be fine. You may have noticed this guy had some brown spots as I was turning it. Some of that is from sunburn, getting it too close to the window. This is from the cat, I think. I haven't really moved this plant for a while or cleaned it up in a while, so I do need to pull off a couple of those leaves. But yeah, this is my Philodendron Brasil. It is one of my favorite plants. It is a common plant, so I feel like it's not talked about a ton, but it's one of my favorites. Easy to take care of, gorgeous. Like sometimes these more rare plants are actually the most gorgeous with the variegation, in my opinion at least. So yep, that's my Philodendron Brasil plant of the week. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will answer them if I can. Oh, also it's a really fast grower, which is cool. I like the fast growers. Okay, bye.